Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So you read the title right. It is Trump versus Jerome Powell. And it is a battle that is happening right now. And we are wondering who is going to back down first. Well, we're going to get into that, guys. We're going to get into even if the president, by law, is even allowed or is able to fire anyone from the Federal Reserve. If you guys remember a long time ago, there was a clip of Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan was saying how the Federal Reserve is not federal and it's also not a reserve. And that the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve banks are completely separate from the United States government. They're a private entity, actually. We, as the United States government, uses the Federal Reserve as a private organization that is not federal and is not part of the government. Did you know that? Did you know that? You probably didn't. You probably think it's actually part of the government, but it's not. We actually are using a private mob to handle our money. So, if anything, because of the nature of this, we should 100% be able to fire someone from that institution. But I guess because of the legality of it and the paperwork and how it probably says, well, we're a private entity, we'd have to fire ourselves. But we could actually just say, hey, well, we're just not going to use you anymore. We're not going to use you anymore. We're going to set up our own financial economy. And it might be that's what they're doing. Why do you think Trump has issued a stablecoin? That's why the Trump family has their own DeFi protocol called World Liberty Financial. They're signaling that stable coins are going to be the first level of legislation that is clear with guidelines for companies, for states in the United States and big institutions to be in stable coins. And then you have the bullishness going towards Bitcoin. You have all the old traditional financial systems kind of being unraveled here, and all at the same time, the strength of the dollar going down. So we're going to get into all this, guys. We're going to get into all this, how this could be tying into the floodgates going into Bitcoin because of all that economic uncertainty, because that is what Bitcoin was born from, was the economic uncertainty. But first, we got to hit the like button. We got to hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, we do these live streams Monday through Friday, 11 Eastern Standard Time, and we have fun doing them. Sometimes it might be an up and down roller coaster, but that is the nature of crypto, my friends. That is the nature of crypto. So just stick with me. We'll have some fun. Happy Good Friday. Jesus is Lord. Jesus saves, and that's all we'll say for today about that. But hope you're doing good. Hope you're going to get some good family time this weekend. And now the markets are closed today, so there's no institutional action. There's no stock market action. But let's see how the stock market, the S&P, closed yesterday. See how it closed. See if it was a red close, if it was a green close. And we were looking at this kind of price structure, and it was looking like we were kind of forming some kind of inverse head and shoulder kind of thing, but it's hard to tell because we had this nice, 9% move up here. This was on the 9th, but then you can see here the 10th was kind of got a wick, stalled out, and then on the 11th had a pretty decent close and open. And now you can see here, coming up on that Thursday, yesterday, we kind of just stalled out. You can see here, we traded up a little bit, and then we stalled out right about here, just kind of stalled out a little bit, 5,200. And you can see that we dropped from this 5,700. You can see how the S&P kind of rolled over on us. And from the beginning of April, you can see right here, end of March, beginning of April, roll over. And then once we had the announcement, I believe this was when we had that announcement of the pause on the tariffs, because this was the thing that actually catapulted the stock market up and injected trillions of dollars back in because of that signal of the pause. And then now the new development was that, we put another 200. I think now the China tariff is at like 245%. So they're really putting pressure on China. But then also the Trump administration is putting a lot of pressure on Jerome Powell right now. And so Trump is calling for Powell's termination amid rate cuts and big debates on if Jerome has just taken way too long to cut the rates and if it's caused a lot of damage and a lot of pain across the markets, especially for, inflation and just cost of goods and just the nature of when the interest rates are really high. It kind of makes it hard for people to operate. It makes them, they plan for more doom and for it to just not really get any better. But then if the interest rates are falling, we actually, prices for real estate are starting to kind of equalize a little bit. They're kind of crap right now. The real estate market is terrible right now, guys. It is not good. There's a lot of houses up for sale, and people are selling these houses, and they're probably literally selling them at a loss because either if they'd had put repairs into these houses, they put whatever work they did, you're not getting your money back. It's like if you put a pool in and you expect to get $50,000 back in value in your house because you put $50,000 into the ground. Well, guess what? You just put $50,000 into the ground. That's it. You didn't add any actual value to the house. No one cares. So the interest rates are really high. So then you're trying to sell the house now. And so a lot of these houses are going to still, and then that's why they're up overvalued. So now you're seeing the prices being cut. So now real estate is going to get equalized. It's kind of the last thing that I've heard someone who's, smarter than me at market said, real estate's the last market to get hit. It's like, that's the one that actually, after all of the stuff that's in the stock market, bonds, treasuries, whatever the hell, interest rates, real estate's the last one to get hit. Which or at least get readjusted, So it's interesting what's happening here. So Jerome Powell to Donald Trump. That won't matter to Trump, but if he takes out Powell, the economy will literally explode and he'll into dragged out the Wall Street or White House like Mussolini. I don't know. Finally, someone with, I don't know, let's see. All right, let's see. Here, I want to play this real quick. Desktop audio. Blah, blah, blah.
To follow up on Victoria's question, do you believe the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Not what?
Not permitted under the law.
Thank you. Courtney. I guess the other question is...
So... At what point of the law can we say, hey, the Fed, you're doing really bad at your job and you probably shouldn't actually be running our monetary system? Why are we using the Fed to issue our money? We don't have to. We're letting them do it. It's like we are at the whim of the Feds and the Federal Reserve and the Fed and the Federal Reserve banks. They're gangsters. They're basically gangsters. They're mobsters. If you want to really break it down to really what's happening here is that they're just printing fiat money backed by nothing. Truly really is backed by nothing if they're just getting printed. And it's just you're printing off of debt. It's just a debt-based economy. So if that's the case, then all these games that they're playing are not going to last very long. They're not going to last very long. So what do you think now, since 2008, had been the thing that has any chance of preserving your wealth? We know it's precious metals. Thousands of years, we've known this. Precious metals are obviously what people go into in times of uncertainty with paper money and cash in debt. It's been gold, precious metals, high dollar commodities that are always going to be valuable. But then Bitcoin is becoming one of those things that now could be a floodgate into this economy, this digital economy. But it's not going to come without its volatility, because obviously you can see it's not going to be a easy road. It never was an easy road, and the people that kind of saw this way before we did, you know, they understood that it's not an easy road. That there's going to be so many chop ups and things that happen on the way. But when you look at it on a weekly scale, monthly scale, you can kind of see it's really our only chance. It's been the most consistent volatile hard asset, which is kind of what you want. We do complain about it when it's the tough times, but if you think about it, if you look at this thing on a weekly chart, it's like this actually might be our only chance of getting out of and putting our money into something, because now look at what Ansem kind of came to the conclusion. He was like, dang, that's like, okay. He's like, I've been trying to find this, but I don't think it doesn't exist. Where is it? It was someone that was he reposted about someone that was getting dividends. Dang, where is it? He reposted way too many things. Where did it go? Man, I thought I reposted it. Hold on. Alexo Crypto sent me here. He said he promised me beer and techno. Well, I have black coffee, no milk, no sugar, like Ivan, and there's no music. You're just getting raw Bitcoin macro TA, which is what people run away from fast. They're like, no, I want the alpha right now. I want the quick alpha. Where's the next 100x? Bitcoin was always the next 100x in each cycle, if you think about it. Like here, right here, it was the next 100x. Look, 9,000, 11,000%. Then from this bottom, look, that was 3,000, 4,000%. Okay, from the COVID bottom, that was 1,300%. From this bottom right here, the 16,000 bottom to the top here was 500%. Gosh, oh my gosh. We were always getting gaslighted to try and find the next thing, but all we had to do was just DCA like a madman into Bitcoin, and your average buy-in would be solid. Absolutely solid. But we always are, we get a little money hungry, we get greedy. You get the allure of the altcoins. You get the allure of the altcoins. It's hard to not get. It's 5:30 there. Okay, well, it's 11:20 here, so it's not beer time yet. It might be beer time later when we're running our gig. But apparently I should be in YouTube jail. I was told in some comments, and that I was cringe. Where's the screenshot? I thought it was funny. I had to pull it up. I was like, this person just, you can't please them all. You can't make everyone happy. I was like, geez, he took the time to comment 3 separate comments. I was like, dang, all right, bro. He was like, you kids are so dumb, and this guy should be put in YouTube jail. He said, so effing cringe. He's like, your fake market cipher is a joke. I said, dang, bro. I said, you don't have to watch my channel. There's plenty of other channels that you can watch. You don't have to watch mine. But I was like, ooh, all right. Do you guys think I should be in YouTube jail? Put a 1 in the chat if you think I should be in YouTube jail. Throw away the key. Throw away the freaking key. All right, so this is whatever. It's like at a point, like it's just you can't make anyone happy on this damn on this platform. Okay, so this is what's interesting. Elizabeth Warren just now on CNBC. Trump should not be calling for Powell to lower rates and says he wants to fire him. This is hurting the nature of democracy and will ruin the stock market. And then on September in 2024, I don't know if this is real or not. But look, dear Jerome Powell, we write today to urge the Federal Reserve to cut the federal fund rates currently at 2-decade high of 5.3% by 75 basis points at the Federal Open Market Committee on September 17th or 18th of 2024. Given the Fed's confidence in inflation moving towards its target of 2% and data indicating slower job growth, now is the time to swiftly move forward with those rate cuts, baby. Elizabeth Warren, a little flip-flopper. But yeah, so I guess the thing in question is if the president can actually signal for Jerome Powell to get fired, or for him to step down. I wonder if I wonder how this is actually going to play out, if they're going to actually battle between each other, or if just Jerome Powell's just going to fold and say, cool, I'll cut the rates. So I don't actually figure out or F around and find out if I could get fired or not. I like that. Jason Casper said, God is not a concept to master, but a presence to be met. Yep, because the cool thing about Jesus and God is that they meet you wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are in life. If you decide that you want to let Jesus into your heart, into your life, you can be anywhere, anytime, any day. You could be at the lowest point of you could feel so ashamed of yourself, or you could be on the highest mountain, singing to the highest of the high, or in the middle where you don't even know where the hell to go. That's what's cool. That's what's actually pretty cool about Christianity and Jesus and all that stuff, is like it'll just meet you wherever you're at and you will be accepted. 100%. So that's pretty cool. It's true. It really is true. You could be anyone, anywhere, any person, anytime, and you will be heard. Sometimes it feels like you're not being heard, but man, once you actually really do it, I'm still finding you have to have the courage, you have to be willing to be open, and sometimes when you do that, you start to feel things and it's scary, and then you're uncomfortable, and then you start to cry and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And then that's when people are like, nope, too much. That's too much. But if you let it in, then then you're like, okay, something's in there. Something's in there. So during this Easter season, we'll say, give Jesus a chance, give God a chance to come into your life, because it might make a difference. I don't know. It's not real. I'm not really, and it's not even me being like religious. You don't even have to be religious. It's just like, if you can let the Spirit do something. It's even just kind of taking that first step of the realization of those things. Oh. But my hope and my prayer is that we can all persevere through our struggles. We can get through these times. I think it's possible. What's up, girl? What's up? Hold on. Oh, guys. All right. So, yeah, Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is just going to not really do anything, honestly. I think this weekend, it's probably, if you look at it right now, don't expect any giant moves or anything like that. It's literally just trading in this annoying range between 83 and 85. And it's just going like this. It's just going... It's just doing this. It's just like, I don't think it's really going to be doing anything. But what I can see here on the 4 hour is that it's pinching itself. It's squeezing. It's doing this. So it's either going to do a nice big drop down to the recent support level. It's just going to do this. It'll just make you think, okay, am I going to go long? Am I going to go short? Am I going to go short? Oh, I'm going to go long. Blah! Oh, I'm going to go short. That's what we're dealing with right now. So I would just kind of chill. Let the Easter weekend, we might have an Easter, maybe we have an Easter pump. Maybe we have an Easter pump. But we just got to look and see if we're just going to kind of get we're just going to kind of get a little choppy stuff. Obviously, we can still trade Bitcoin 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but that doesn't mean that the big money is coming in. Like, it just means like big money's not going to be, they don't do that on the weekends. Maybe the funky whales, or I call them the funky whales, that they were partying all week, and then they're going to keep that party going through the weekend. We'll keep trading. But the big money, they're chilling. They don't have to do that. They don't have to do that on the weekend. So they're most likely going to just kind of sit back, take the weekend off, and then we have some key levels, though. Here's the deal. 200-day moving average is just going to be our best key indicator for these alts and also for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin pairs with ETH, Sol, Cardano, and things like that, all the altcoin pairs to BTC are starting to kind of get a little bit of recovery. They're getting close to their bottom or somewhere near their bottom. Once we start to see those pairs kind of trudge up a little bit, that's when we can start to see whatever some alts. Our alts go. But I'll just give you a good example of like, Litecoin and Dogecoin. Litecoin and Dogecoin right now is a good metric of like where we're at in the alts, or where we're at for a, if you would call like a accumulation zone again. You can see here in this purple box range of Dogecoin pricing is kind of a sweet spot, as if even all down here was like gosh, that was it. I mean, that was like your buying, that was great buying opportunities all through 2023. But then now we're sitting at the top of the box where we had previous really big resistance. Okay, right here. You can see it right here. If you're looking on the daily chart, maybe if we look at the weekly, we can tighten it up a little bit, But you can see we're just sitting at the freaking top of this range right here. We're sitting at the top of this range, and it's either they give it to us and we get back up into that 33-40 cent range. But right now, if you're looking at Doge, everything else is going to kind of look and match what Dogecoin is doing in this point in terms of alts. Like you can see, look, SHIB got back into that range. We have a couple of these, all of our coins like this, we wanted to put into a range. You can see they're all back into that accumulation range. Floki went back into that accumulation range. Everything kind of just went into that funky range. You can see it. And the best way to look at it is on the weekly chart, because then you can just see like, okay, those were my moments where we could have been a little bit more aggressive in taking some profits. And so you can see here, you get another chance. Maybe we'll all learn our lesson. Look, you can see Cardano right back into the purple range. It just came out of that second tier range, which we had marked up here. Chainlink, you can see, look, it's under that range. You can see it's right in there, right in that range. So really, you want to go on the weekly more or less right now and analyze all your altcoins, fundamental coins on the weekly, and that will give you a better indication of kind of where we're sitting at here. You can do it with all of these coins. And also, it's good to look at this. Wow. Yeah, gold is on its way to 3,400. It's going to be breaking this crazy new all-time high of $3,400. And it's looking good. I mean, gosh, this thing is going to be getting up to $4,000 an ounce. I wonder what's going to happen with silver. We've been telling you silver. I think I want a long silver. I'm like, I want a long silver's futures, because this thing looks good. If you're wondering, how can I get a solid dividend pays through the rest of the year? It probably could just be, hey, long silver. Why don't you let's all long John Silver's this freaking thing. Make sure you guys are smashing up the like button. We apparently need to be in YouTube jail, so it's either we go to YouTube jail or we succeed. Which one is it going to be, folks? We either go to YouTube jail and receive the cringe award, or we smash up the like. All right. Let's look at the liquidation levels. Looks like interesting. There's a lot of liquidations on leverage for shorts that can get liquidated really hard at 86,000. That's interesting. Okay. So 86,000 short liquidations at 86. Oh yeah, high. Yeah, so there's high 50x leverage shorts that could get smashed at 86.5. That actually might be my only case of Bitcoin surprising people right now, or surprising us through this weekend, is that they do this pump to 86, because that would liquidate the shorts, and then that would push us over the 200-day moving average, which is sitting at around that $87,000, $88,000 level. We would get a short squeeze. We would get a short squeeze going up to this level right here, and then we would crush into the 90K range. That's actually a possibility. If you're actually looking at this on the weekly, you can probably see that playing out and match it up with the short liquidations at 86, and you can see that it's the shorts. They're really they could actually go for the shorts. They could short squeeze and liquidate the shorts at 86. You can see it right here, top of the wick, 86. You can see even on the wick on the weekly where they basically stopped those liquidations from happening by probably injecting a little bit more liquidity and doubling down on the shorts, and then they pushed them down. But now they might not give him that other chance. You can see that weekly sharp drop, and then now trying to recover in a big kind of inverse pattern that could be happening here. Really don't need many TA or the indicators or bunch of lines and stuff like that. It's just like, look at the weekly, look at the Bollinger Bands, go on the Bollinger Bands on the 45-minute, and then look and see how, if it's like just squeezing. You can do that on the 4-hour. You can see if it's getting pinched, if it's getting pinched on the 4-hour. Bollinger Bands in a couple of different time frames, and in a 200-day moving average is maybe all you need to get a bit of a macro feel. Pretty interesting wick right here. You can see it. Look at that wick. Look at the support to the push up to 94. We're sitting at some very, very, very key levels. So let's see what happens. We'll have to just see what happens. Yeah, think about the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Band trader, the John Bollinger, he's pretty famous. Oh, okay. I'm getting a message from the boss. I'm gonna have to end the live stream a little early. Getting a message from the big boss, the CEO. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We at least got a nice little stream going. But just check out all the links in the descriptions. Right now, BLOFIN is offering really, really good trading discounts, bonuses. The rewards hub is pretty crazy. You could there's so many different tasks that you can do to earn some extra moolah. You can spot buy. You can buy Bitcoin. You can trade futures. You can copy trade. You can even set up trading bots. All kinds of stuff on here. Pretty cool. So make sure you check it out. And also make sure you're checking out OURBIT. It's one of our favorite exchanges as well. They're going to be launching a meme coin. Well, I don't say not a meme coin, but they're launching their official. Well, I guess no, it is their official meme coin. Yeah, it's their official meme coin airdrop, so you can earn some rewards and check that out. All right. Have a good weekend, guys. We will see you on Monday. And hopefully Bitcoin is at $95,000 or $100K by Monday. That would be pretty cool. All right. We'll see you later.